Hey there folks, Nick here from Colortex, and in today's video we're going to talk about our favorite embroidery tools. So to start off, pretty basic tool, but scissors. We use these scissors for a variety of different things, but most oftentimes employees use them to open box when they're not supposed to, but the real thing that we actually use these for is actually to cut the cutaway backing in the back of garments in order to keep the backing clean once the product is finished. So this is an important tool for us. Followed up with little snips. These little snips are actually used for a variety of different things, but when the embroidery is not perfectly trimmed, we actually cut them out and then make sure that your embroidery comes out nice and clean. Then there's often this little piece of thread that's left there, so what we do is we use the lighter. So essentially what the lighter does is actually burns or makes that loose thread actually shrink back down. So we kind of just run that on there and then that embroidery comes out nice and clean. So basic tool, no one knows what it is, but we use it in embroidery as a little secret tool. Following that is another scissor, but this one's kind of just a little scissor. It's not a snip. This one here, what we use it for is actually on the machine. When a thread breaks, something needs to be cut on the machine, on the threads, we actually use these ones and cut the threads, cut the stuff back. Following that is actually some nice little tools that ZSK has made for us. And what this does is actually it's a little screwdriver, but instead of having that long shaft on there is the needle plates on the embroidery machine. We have the capabilities of taking the screws off like that without having that shaft in the way. So it's a nice little tool that ZSK has provided to us. And Eleanor's always got a couple extras for me from Twig Industries. Following that is another nice little tool. This one here, it's just like a little custom tool from ZSK again. This one here, what it does is it actually helps us to remove the needle plates and the needle nipple, on the machine. So from flats to universal to caps, these little nipples are different. So these two little prongs allow us to take them out and take and replace them. So they're a great little tool. Without it, we can't change the needle plates, the needle nipple, sorry. Following that is another little tool that we use for on the ZSK machine. Just a standard Allen key, comes in with the machines, but it's got this nice little handle. It's nice and small, but this little thing that kind of goes co-aligned with it is actually a nice little tool that is a magnet that ZSK has made for us to align needles. And Eleanor from Twig Industries is one of our friends, and he's always happy to give me a couple extra ones because, as you can see, these things are pretty freaking tiny and we kind of happen to lose them, sadly. So I got a couple extra ones. I keep them in my secret stash. So what this does is, this is the Allen key that takes the little screw off so that it loosens the screw in order for us to put the needle in. And then this little magnet, actually, you put it on the flat edge of the needle and it shows us that light little angle on the needle that we need to make sure that everything is perfectly running fine. So this is a nice tool. Thank you again for ZSK and my good friend Eleanor for mastering this little and giving me some extra ones of these. Following that with the needle ease. So this little tool here is not a must-have, but it's a nice tool to have. You actually place the needle in there, and in order to line it up in the machine, you pop that in there, you got your needle here, and then kind of similar to what ZSK's tool does in terms of the magnetic little piece, is it actually shows up the line and it holds everything together while we use that Allen key screwdriver to kind of tighten everything back together. So not a must-have, but it's a nice little tool made in the USA that, again, my good friend Eleanor from Twig Industries provides to us. Following that is essentially another nice little tool that Eleanor's got for us, is this 3D Puff Pro tool. So we used to make, some jimmy rig tools in order to push the puff foam back into the embroidery when you remove that layer of embroidery and keep it all nice and clean. We used to, scissors, corners, flat screwdrivers and stuff. But this little tool here, it's got a nice little pointy edge here, another little fattier edge on the side here that allows us to put all that foam back in before we use the heat gun to kind of heat that puff and keep everything shrinking and tight back together. So this is a must-have if you ask me. Fairly inexpensive, super nice to have. Make sure you have one of these in your kit. And then the one we all hate to use just because it means you fucked something up. So essentially this is a stitch eraser that, again, Twig Industries provides to us. Replacement top blades, you can actually take these off and replace them once you've used them too much. Sadly, it's a bad thing when you need to replace them because you've used them too much. That's not a good sign. But again, hey, you're happy to have it when you need it. Essentially, it allows you to shave that back from the back end, shave the bobbin, in order for you to remove the embroidery. Let's say you were running a jump stitch and you ran the wrong color, you got to shave it off or something wrong, didn't take up nice. turn it on, you shave that on, and from the front side of the product, you can shave it off. It doesn't work all the time, doesn't work on all the stitch types, doesn't work on all the garments, but essentially it's nice to have, and you know, when it's an expensive product or something like that, it's always nice to have in your pocket in order to save a garment. So thank you for watching. If ever you want to geek out on some of this stuff, even though if you're not an embroidery ZSK embroidery shop and you'd love to chat, please do feel free to reach out. I love to geek out about this stuff. Thank you for watching. Cheers.